Danielle, and as promised, today I'm going to show you how to make a faux shiplap backing on your table saw and the most easy, simple farmhouse style frame that, because you can get your boards cut for free at Home Depot or Lowe's, you don't really need any tools for outside of a sander and an optional nail gun. So my backing today is just a mini 9x9 square of 1/2 inch MDF. For the framing style I'm showing you today, it's best to have a thickness of at least 1/2 inch on your backing to help with the nailing. So to make the faux shiplap look today, we're just gonna run our boards down the table saw. Because my board is 9 inches, I'm gonna make just 2 cuts, 3 inches apart. But if you're making a bigger sign and you want it to be maybe 12 inches, for example, you could make 3 cuts, 4 inches apart, etc. Set your table saw height to just shy of half your thickness. If you're using plywood, you're only going to want to cut through that first layer to avoid breaking, but with MDF you can go a little deeper. I'm setting my distance at 3 inches today, and I'm going to run it down on one side. Following that, instead of changing the distance on my table saw, I'm just going to flip it and run it down through the other side. Then we're going to have our faux shiplap, and we will sand it and prime it here in a bit. To make the frame, I'm just using your basic furring strip that you can get at your local chain store. It costs about $1, maybe $2 a piece, and one strip should be good enough to make one frame. So you're gonna need 2 pieces the same length as your sides, and then 2 pieces that are cut to be the same length as your sides, plus the length of the 2 additional boards. When it comes to framing, I don't even bother measuring. Just line up the furring strip with the board and mark that line with a pencil. When using MDF, you want to make sure you give it a good coat of primer or a seal and then sand it before painting with your spray paint. Since I'm sticking the sign in my daughter's room, I'm keeping the frame just natural to match. Of course, you can stain with whatever stain color that you prefer. Just make sure you finish it off with some kind of protectant. I'm using the polyacrylic by Minwax here. So my pieces are all ready and ready to be attached. When I started making signs around 2 years ago, I didn't have a nail gun, so I would just use wood glue and then use the good old nail and hammer version, which you can do if you don't have one. But I bought a pneumatic air gun by Wendell. It only cost $28 2 years ago, and I love it. I have no issues with it, and it has made a world of difference. Starting with the side pieces, apply a thin amount of wood glue and then make it flush and nail it in. Once the sides are attached, make sure that they're flush before gluing the top sides. If they're off at all, you'll want to sand it down or run it through the table saw one more time. Then we'll attach the top and the bottom the same way, making sure to nail the corners together. Alright, so now that we have our finished backing and frame, I'm going to go ahead and use my Gorilla Super Glue to attach the elements that I made in my previous tutorials to my sign. So it's that easy, and of course I applied the elements that I've shown in previous tutorials onto the board for my daughter's room. I would love to see what you guys come up with. And if you have any other questions, ask them in the comments below. If you have a better way, put them in the comments below. But I hope this is a good starter for you to get you making your own farmhouse frames. Happy creating. I'll see you next time.